All right, leaders of the Big Search, I want to welcome you. This video we're going to use to be able to show you exactly what your duties and responsibilities are going to be while you're assisting us with the Big Search. So first we'll get started on registration. So if you're part of registration, the way we're going to be using this room is having this side just for people coming directly in. But when they first arrive, they're going to come here and do the volunteer sign-in sheet. This is where they're going to put their name, phone number, time in, and their initials. At that point, whoever's running this station is going to make sure that the volunteer registration form and the non-disclosure agreement is given to that volunteer, and they're going to walk to this area and begin to fill out this paperwork. Now, if they do not get these fully signed, we're not going to be able to use them in the Big Search. One of the key things is going to be the license number and verifying that their license match this. Now, with the kids not having license, that's a different story, but we need to make sure that the leadership that's escorting them through, that we have their license number. We have had situations of sexual predators coming out to help with searches, different situations, and we do not want that to happen. So we need you guys to be able to make sure this happens. If it's not working out and they don't want to give off their number, just tell them thank you, but with something that we have to have, it's a requirement. And if they cause any issues, please come get one of us and we'll just take care of that situation for you. So once that's completely turned in, signed, and ready, there will be a folder here that you're gonna, it's gonna be alphabetical that you can put all the forms in. And at that point, you're gonna ask them to sit on this side, right next to the registration desk, to await for the briefer to come get them. At that point, the briefer will come in, and she will ask for the team that's completely registered, and we're going to head to the back into the briefing room. So this is our command center. We're going to have operations in the back. We're going to be placing documentation here along with situation. And then the table is going to be used for all of our task assignment forms over there where my buddy's sitting. So picking up from after registration, what the briefer's job is going to be as soon as they're entering in is making sure that they have a team briefing checklist. At this point, they'll come over to the documentation center and they are going to pick up the task assignment form packet. It's going to have a task assignment form, the field log that the recorder is going to use while out in the field, all the flyers, and then the indicator forms that they're going to hand out. At that point, they're going to walk out into the registration area, link up with registration, and find the first team that is completely registered and ready to come to the back. At that point, the briefer will escort that team into the briefing room. Once in the briefing room, if you're a briefer, you're going to want to use your complete checklist to run down this. Make sure you hand the complete packet over, notifying them exactly where they're going to be going, and make sure they have a warm and fuzzy on exactly what they're going to do. Once the whole team gives you a thumbs up that they're comfortable about what they're doing, they're going to get up and then come back to the situation area with you. At the situation table, there are going to be two of these tasks, two of these assignment forms. One will be given to the situation unit. The other one will be kept by the team leader. You will also be giving the team leader one of these badges that they can use when they're going out. At this point, the situation unit is going to verify that the leader that's going out with the team has Life 360 on their phone. He's going to make sure the GPS is on, that he can see them. At that point, he's going to ask them what team number they are. We're going to have a status board for the teams, whether they're in or out in the field. He will sign that they're going out, and then at that point, they will exit through this door to begin their job. So the planning chief's job is going to be in charge of documentation and situation units, okay? So going over the situation unit, what they're going to be responsible for is making sure on our whiteboard over there, we're going to have date, weather forecast, command center phone number, name, address, and phone number of hospitals that are closest to the majority of where all the task assignments are going to be for that day, and writing down non-emergency numbers for all law enforcement for all of those task assignments that are going to be out. You're also going to verify that all the day's tasks are in priority order. Ensure that the new search status boards is affixed to the wall. So he's going to be able to constantly keep updating that as teams are coming in and out. Making sure Life 360 is up and running. Making sure teams are getting signed on to that. And then at that point, he is going to be responsible as a situation unit, making sure that he gets those tasks to hand that over to documentation. So this next part we'll discuss documentation. So from situation unit to documentation unit, once that task is handed over, there's going to be 3 folders, okay? One is going to be awaiting for the teams, one is going to be in the field, and then one is going to be completed. So the way this works is awaiting tasks is where they'll be sitting for briefers to get their tasks, to go out and get the new teams that's going to be coming ready for the brief. Once that task is completed and handed over to the situation unit, they are going to place that, notify the documentation, they are out the door, they are on their search. Now it's going to go into the field folder. At that point, when the team returns, that briefer is going to come back over, ask for that task, take them into that room, debrief them, and return. Once that's returned, the task is going to be going into the completed form, and then that is complete. At that point, the documentation unit is going to be responsible of taking that debriefing form and passing it to documentation, the situation, the logistics, and also the operations to get signatures on. So the debriefing form is what's going to be used by the debriefers when they're debriefing the team. Once this is filled out, this is going to have to be given to the documentation unit. Documentation unit is going to send this around to every one of the groups, to the operations, to the logistics and all. And you can see even here that we have these checks that have to be completed to show that everyone read all of the leads that came through during the day of this search. Once that is complete, I'm going to do the sign off of the disposition and hand this back over to documentation, who's going to place that into the completed folder. At that point, that team is complete, and we can use that for further situation as it dictates with law enforcement. So as a briefer, you're also going to be a debriefer. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you, it does not matter if you brief a certain team that you have to debrief that same team. It's going to come mix and match. You just jump in where you can, but you will be taking the debriefing checklist, sitting the team down in the same room that you did the brief in, and going through. You want to make sure that you get the booklets back, the cards back, the note logs, the flip cards, the badges. Make sure the entire team is there, and you're going to begin your debriefing. So, big takeaways that you're looking for is this is the point, the time that you were able to really pull out of this team to find good leads that we can make actionable to actually go out and help law enforcement find these kids that are missing, okay? Use this, big search privacy and confidentiality. You want to make sure that you remind the team, like, do not be sharing video, don't be sharing the pictures of the kids. If they have flyers, make sure you're getting that back, because we have to be real careful with the state agencies that we work for. If they've asked us not to share these except for the flyer distribution that we did, that you're getting that back. Once that's complete, the team is done. You're going to go out to the situation unit, hand in the badge, hand in the tab, hand in the debriefing form to the documentation unit, and then you're done and you're just ready for the next team to come in. And that's all you got to do. So also part of the big search is when teams are out, instead of getting back to the command center to tell us any of the leads that they found, they can actually call in. So we're going to have someone in one of these rooms that's going to have the call log that's taking any of the calls that are coming in, and they're going to have a lead form that they can begin to take the leads down, especially if it's something that is a very hot item. We've had certain situations where we've had leads that were 72 hours old. A team gets out there, goes to a gas station, convenience store, hotel. The kid had just left that site. Now we're 5 minutes behind that child. This is where this can really take effect of being able to help us escalate our time frame of getting law enforcement involved and some of our teams involved that can get out there and be able to identify that kid. So that's going to be a really important part too. Once that is completed and leads are flowing through this on the phones, it's going to go directly to the documentation unit. Documentation unit is going to handle it exactly like it's a debriefing form. They're going to make sure they get signatures by operations, the planning, logistics, and the intelligence side. Once that's completed, it's also going to go in the folder with that team once that team gets back and turns in their TAF along with everything else. So I just hope you enjoyed this video. I just want to tell you thank you so much for serving. Thank you so much for coming out here and representing these kids. It's such an honor to be able to work alongside of you, an honor to be able to train you guys. We're looking forward for future operations that we can do. So let God be with us and let us just do a great job for Him and honor Him. Thank you.